All right, so 2025 is right around the corner, or maybe it is 2025 when you're watching this video, and you have the goal to be more athletic, to become an athlete for life. Great goal. It's my goal. It's my endless pursuit that I plan to pursue for the rest of my life. Hopefully, that's another 70 years or so, 80 years. I'd probably be, what would I be, 80 years, 100 and 112, 100 and, yeah, 112, 100, yeah, I think 112, 100, whatever, I don't, 36, 70 years, it'd be 106, so 116, something like that. Who knows? With technology, maybe we'll be that. But not just living that long, but enjoying it and having a fulfilling life. That's what it's athlete for life is. And if I'm looking to get started, haven't done anything. I've been sitting on the couch daydreaming. I became that couch quarterback, watching football, watching basketball, watching baseball, watching volleyball, critiquing everything, yelling at my team, saying, "Oh, I could make that pass, I could make that shot, I could make that putt," but you can't even get off the couch. So, if we want to get started right now, don't wait till tomorrow. Start right now. Even stop this video and start. But you might want to listen to these points of how to become an athlete for life. What would I do if I were just starting out my journey to become an athlete for life in 2025 or whenever you're watching this? So let's start with the boring stuff. Everyone likes the boring stuff. Sleep and nutrition. Here he goes again, talking about sleep and nutrition, but it's true. It's where you got to start. Focus on sleep, and not just getting more sleep. It's focusing on getting good quality sleep. Maybe you're sleeping 8 hours already, but like you're tossing and turning, you still wake up groggy. You're still tired, and you don't have the energy. By the time you're done with work, you're dozing off at lunchtime or early afternoon. That means you're probably not getting quality sleep. And focus on that first. Focus on getting good quality sleep, not necessarily more. Because there's people who sleep, I've talked to people who sleep like 10, 12 hours and they still feel like they're tired all the time. And then people who sleep like 6, 7 hours and they feel great. Because they're probably getting a lot quality, deeper sleep. They're hitting all stages of the sleep cycle. And there's different ways to do that. A lot of it comes from setting a consistent bedtime, getting up consistently. And again, these things are going to change. Life is going to happen. Things are going to get away. It's not going to be perfect. It's about being as consistent as possible and hitting that the majority of the time. It's finding what temperature you sleep best in, experimenting with that. Getting a dark room. I think most people tend to sleep better in dark, cooler rooms. Getting electronics out of the room, that type of stuff. And maybe if you're like me, I'm a teeth grinder, so I even have like these little indents in my teeth that the dentist has told me that's from grinding teeth. So I wear a mouth guard. Maybe you're a snorer, so maybe it's using breathe rights or getting CPAP, or a lot of times snoring issues are because you're overweight. So losing some weight, that can help you sleep better. Taping your mouth, that might help you sleep better. Whatever it is, it's about finding different things that are going to help you sleep better. Building routines, building habits, and working on that sleep hygiene. Maybe it's not exercising close to bedtime. Maybe it's stopping eating 2 to 3 hours before bedtime rather than eating and then going to bed. Or doing something that's overstimulating, or reading something that's overstimulating before bed so your mind's going crazy like mine is. Or it's having a notebook. Here's my notebook of all my sleep thoughts, ideas that pop into my crazy mind when I am going to bed or wake up and can't get back to sleep. That's what that's for. The brain dump. Does it help? A lot of times it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Like this last few weeks have been not good sleep. Like about 2 weeks straight. About now, it's been waking up. It's always about 140, 146, 145, 146. I don't, because I always wake up, look at the clock, and it's like, oh, again, and it's like I can't get back to sleep because some stupid Christmas song is stuck in my head, or some ideas, marketing, training ideas are popping in my head. So, but we'll get that fixed. We'll dial that in, and that's big. It's a process. It's not always going to be great. It's about dealing with it, learning to deal with it, and focusing on quality sleep. So sleep, there's number one, and number two, like I said, is nutrition. Dialing in your nutrition. Don't worry about calories. Don't worry about macros right away. Let's just focus on eating better food and eating enough of it. Not going to be over restrictive. Let's focus on real, whole, nutrient-dense foods that come from earth and foods that come from animals. So meats, fish, eggs, vegetables, fruits, nuts, olive oil, coconut oil, butter. What's the other? I said olive oil. Avocado oil, potatoes, rice, yams, that type of stuff. All that food that is what it says it is. It's not 80 million different ingredients that you can't pronounce half of them. It's not super processed. Yes, you have to process. You have to go pick the apple. You have to go butcher the cow. But it's not just process over again just to make all the additives and fillers and whatever else they add to food these days. So it's whole nutrients, real foods, and it's getting enough of it. And doing that over a long period of time rather than just let's worry about our calories and macros. Yes, it can be important to track and know what you're eating. And that's part of it too. Track what you're eating, but not in the sense of track every individual macro. Track what types of foods you're eating, the quality of foods you're eating. That type of thing, rather than, did I eat the exact amount of protein, did I exact amount of fats. Focus on the quality and the quantity first. And then once you get that dialed, then you're starting to reach for those whole foods. Fix your relationship with food. Fix the bad behaviors that you have learned through those years. Once you dial those in, then the tracking, the macros, the calories can be a lot more beneficial. But I think, at some point in time, it's helpful to track calories and macros because, like you track your finances, why not track what you're eating too? So, sleep, nutrition, and of course, then there's training, and this is the fun stuff. Hopefully, training should be fun. That's a big part of it. Make your training fun to be an athlete for life. Find training that you enjoy. Again, I'm not a fan of group classes. I'm not a fan of a lot of the stuff that's out there. But if that works for you, I'm not a fan of running distances and a ton of that type of stuff. But if that's what gets you going, good, do it. But we're talking about being an athlete for life, training like an athlete, moving like a human. So with your training, again, make it enjoyable. Find something that's enjoyable. We are going to sprint. So if you're just starting out sprinting, you haven't sprinted in 10, 20 years, you're not going to just jump out and go run 20 100-meter dashes. That's a recipe for disaster. We're going to start slow. We're going to meet ourselves and be realistic with where we're at. Maybe it's some short 10-yard sprints. Maybe it's just the 5-yard hard 3-4 steps to get to 5 yards. Doing some hills, some incline sprints, that type of thing. Because it's less impact. It's not long distance, so you're less likely to, blow out a hamstring or something like that. It's meeting ourselves where we're at. And then gradually building to where it's maybe you're starting once a week, and then it's a month or two later, it's twice a week, and then 6 months down the road, you're sprinting 3 times a week or whatever it is. Again, it's all about, I think sprinting is, personally, I think it's the best exercise you can do. All you need for it is space and maybe some decent weather, because it's not fun to sprint on ice or when it's negative degrees out. So you need some space, and probably in the winter indoors it would help a little bit, depending on where you're at, what you have available. Um, Probably not a treadmill. I mean, if that's all you have, that's all you have. But sprinting on a treadmill kind of sucks. Even those curved ones, those are not that great. Personally, I don't think they're very good for sprinting. Maybe if you have a treadmill, I've never used one of those, but those, it's kind of an incline. It's an incline treadmill. Those actually look like they're pretty legit, but I've never used one, so I don't know from firsthand experience. But sprinting, that's number one thing I think it should include in your training. Number two, lifting. Let's go. We're going to work on building strength, building power, doing the main lifts. Let's think so. Some sort of squat, some sort of hinge, some sort of upper body push and pull of both vertical and horizontal, lunging, those types of things, those movements, crawling, again, these rotating, all these different movements that you can do. Those are movement patterns, but then within those, it's about finding the variations, the exercises that work best for you and your body. And again, this is where you got to be realistic when you're figuring out sets and reps, and even that gets so out of control. You got to learn about what your body's capable of at the point you're at in your life. That can change. That will change in the future as you get going more, and maybe it's just starting with 2 days a week of training, and as you go and go and go, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, to eventually you're doing something every day. Because I think as you get older, doing something every day is going to be beneficial. Everyone preaches rest, 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 but if you're not putting in work, you don't need to rest. We sit too much at work. We are sitting watching TV, watching Netflix and sports and whatever all the time now. We're not actually moving, so you don't need rest. You got enough rest. Let's actually train, and doing something every day I found makes my body feel better. I look better. I'm in a better mood. It's kind of like actually probably an addiction, but it's a better addiction than alcohol or drugs or eating junk all the time. It's a better addiction than that stuff. Gambling is better than that stuff. It's healthier for me. But because I think everyone has some sort of addiction, and that's what I choose as mine, and I'm glad it's exercise. I'd rather have that than anything else, really. But again, it's finding training and gradually progressing. It's not doing too much too soon and just destroying yourself or getting injured where then you can't do anything. So it's lifting, it's hitting up, finding the movements, the exercise that work for you. It's crawling, it's tumbling, it's rolling, it's jumping. It's another big one. Throwing, all these different athletic movements. Whereas you see the bodybuilders, you see the powerlifters, they don't do any of this stuff. They just lift. And yes, like I said, I love lifting as part of it, building strength, building power. But if that's all you do, then you're not going to be an athlete for life. So you're probably just going to be, if you're just going to be a powerlifter, you're just going to end up being big and fat and slow. If you're a bodybuilder, you're probably going to be muscular. You got the show, but you don't have the go. You can't do anything athletic. And an athlete for life is someone who can go play catch with the kids, go on the playground with the kids, chase the grandkids around, get on and off the ground with ease, climb the stairs with ease, tie your shoes with ease. You see a lot of these big fat powerlifters, they bend over and they're, it's aches and pains. It's can't tie their shoes because they can't even see their toes or their wieners because they're so fat. So we don't want that. We want to be lean and athletic and move well. And that's where it's the speed training, the sprinting, the jumping, and then combining with the lifting and then all the other movement as well, moving like a human, moving like an animal, the crawling, the rolling, the tumbling, the climbing, the hanging. That's where it would be. It's just Starting with that, figuring out amount of days you are ready, whether that's 2, maybe that's 3, and being consistent with that for a while, then building on it. And even on the off days, you're walking. Walking might be the number one thing you can do. If you're like morbidly obese, starting lifting might not be the best thing for you. Sprinting probably definitely isn't the best thing to start right away. Even though I think, like I said, it's the best exercise I think for you, it might not be the best exercise for you right now. That could be just walking. And yes, walking is exercise. Especially for those morbidly obese people who can barely move. If you can get up and get walking, maybe it's 10 minutes a day to start. 10 minutes twice a week, then 10 minutes 3, and then 4, and then 20 minutes, and then it's 30 minutes, and then an hour a day, or whatever it is. However you progress it, walking is going to be so beneficial to you. You can use that as your low intensity cardio. Get that out. Boom, do it right in the morning. After you have that glass, after you wake up, have a glass of water, go pee, brush your teeth, whatever your morning routine is. Go walk. Do it after each meal. Boom, you're walking and you're moving. That's just getting you more activity, low intensity activity. If you're capable of walking, you should be walking. It's the most easily accessible exercise for most people. And again, if you maybe live in cold weather, if you're not willing to put on the layers to get outside, get a treadmill, walk around the house, walk up and down the stairs, those types of things. So sprinting, lifting, walking, all those movements I talked about, the crawling, the rolling, the tumbling, throwing, all these athletic movements that so many people neglect after their sports career ends. It's, I stopped playing my sports, now I'm just going to do nothing. No, these things keep you feeling young, they keep you moving like a human, and they keep you able to do the things in life you love to do, and the things you need to do, like put that box or put that can of soup up on the top shelf, or get that bowl down from the top shelf, or lift that package up the steps that the mailman was too lazy to set up on the top step. Those types of things, the things you don't even think about. You don't realize how hard it is for you to get up the stairs without grabbing onto the railing like with all your might and all your, like you're hanging on for your life, or tie your shoes, or pull on your pants without worrying about blowing out your back. That type of stuff. That's really what it's about. It's about making life better. And doing these power movements is going to help, because you lose that easily. You lose power, you lose speed quickest, and most people lose that first as they get older. So it's doing these things to do it. The sprinting, the jumping, the hopping, the skipping, the crawling, the rolling, the tumbling, the hanging, the throwing, and then combining that, all those athletic movements with lifting, whether that's finding a squat variation that works for you, finding an Olympic variation that works for you, a hinge that works for you, a lunge variation that works for you, whether it's dumbbells or kettlebells or a belt squat or a barbell. The amount of variation is endless, and it's about, again, dialing it in, finding what makes you feel good as you continuously going back, and making it fun. And that's where gamifying training is a big part of how I would, if I was starting right now, that's what I do. And I mean, that's what I do everywhere. That's what I do right now. But if I was just starting out, I would gamify it. If you're sprinting, time your sprints. Find a buddy, a training partner to race them. Tag games, agility games. Toss a ball, go catch the ball before on the fewest bounces as possible. If you're lifting, gamify lifting by setting PRs and trying to set new records and things like that. Get a training partner. Climbing, hanging, track, record, those type of things. So you're tracking your time, you're tracking the weight you lifted. Try and beat it. New lift, you don't know what you can do? Let's see what we can do. Adding in variation to gamify things. Adding in like med ball throws. Maybe you're just throwing at a target, or you're tracking the miles per hour you can throw. Different things like that to gamify and make training more fun. Just doing goofy stuff, not being afraid to fail, uh, making like coming up, getting unleashing your creativity, whether it's adding pads and diving over mats and onto crash pads or over hurdles or jumping in various different ways, doing spins or uh, trying new things. Like that's what training is. It's a sandbox that you can build and enjoy. It's a Lego set. It's just no, it's a bucket of Legos that you can build to whatever your mind can come up with. It's not just a barbell back squat or a deadlift or a bench press. It's so much more than that. And I am like losing my voice. But so I'm gonna probably end this year soon. But that's what it is. What I would start with. So your sleep, your nutrition, get training like an athlete, get moving like a human, and then manage your stress. Like, stop worrying about all the crap you can't control. The news, politics, other people's opinions, the weather, complaining and making excuses and bitching about all this stupid stuff. Like, who cares what crap? Like, that's one thing. Like, I enjoy teaching a lot when I'm subbing, but one of the downfalls is just listening to how negative, like, and like sitting in a lunchroom and listening to how negative people can be. Like other teachers, like, ugh, like how miserable, like life isn't that bad. And I used to be the same way when I was working in an office, when I was working in a job I hated. Then I got laid off and started like, oh, I can actually control a lot of things. My effort, my intensity, my consistency, my attitude. You worry about what you can control, what you can't control, and focus on, yes, human nature is to be negative, but focus on some of the positive stuff too. Focus on the long-term journey, not the end result. As I've said before, it is a process. It is not the result. Yes, you're going to have goals, plenty of goals along the way. You want to hit those goals. But enjoy the journey along the way. And I think training like an athlete, my philosophy on training, having fun with it, enjoying it, is so much better. Enjoying what you eat. I take that process creativity into nutrition and food as well. Testing out new recipes, making foods I enjoy. Like trying, like, I love Reese's peanut butter cups, so trying to make a better version of a peanut butter cup, and I got it down. So if you want it, let me know. Without buying all the junk food and that type of stuff. So making it fun and making it more enjoyable, because that's ultimately, if you enjoy something, you're gonna work harder at it. You're gonna stick with it. You're gonna be consistent with it, and then that's when you see the results. And you're not even like, it doesn't even seem like you're working as hard, even though you are. You're working harder. You're being smart. You're having fun and enjoying it. And that's when the process really becomes part of your life. And that's when you become an athlete for life. So as my voice is like gone, hopefully it's back so I can, when I'm recording this, I have another day of teaching tomorrow before winter break. So I don't know when you'll be watching this, but hopefully it's not gone, because I've had top teaching coach with no voice before, and and it's like, I don't know what, if I'm like a little sick or whatever it is, but maybe it's from having to yell in the gym with the volleyball girls, just because you gotta, they're spread out and you gotta talk loud. But whatever it is, voice is going, so I think we're gonna call it there. But those are the things I would start working on right away if I wanted to become an athlete for life in 2025 or whatever it is, whenever you're watching this and beyond, and build those habits so you can ultimately do these things for the rest of your life, because it is the journey, it is the process. Enjoy it, live it, love it. And that's what I have for you today, guys. Thanks for watching.